And I said this earlier, if any team is to be trusted to evolve MMOs, it's ArenaNet. It is Guild Wars, because they do have a unique take on what MMOs are, and they did evolve MMOs with Guild Wars 2. They took MMOs to like kind of a place, it's like nothing else. Like whether you like Guild Wars or not, that's another conversation, you know what I mean? But like they definitely know how to do something interesting and unique, and I think that's why it's stood the test of time for so long, because it is like nothing else. Like they didn't just try to copy World of Warcraft, you know what I mean? They did something that other MMOs weren't doing, and I think that helped it so much to stand out. And of course it continued to get support, which is huge. But there are so many MMOs that died because they tried to be like World of Warcraft, and Guild Wars didn't. They tried to do their own thing, and that's why I think they've survived, you know what I mean? And stayed as like kind of this pillar of the MMO community, of the MMO genre. Yeah, I think it's a really big deal. MMOs need a revival. This is like probably as close as they're gonna get to one, if I'm honest. You know, unlike something like New World or something like that tried to do something new, and they did, and I think they, you know, they didn't exactly nail it, and it kind of, you know, it could have been better. But like with New World, it was like, it was Amazon, it was this new thing, you know what I mean? They don't have the kind of pedigree and the kind of community trust that something like Guild Wars has, and ArenaNet has, you know. And I think that goes a long way to getting people to like accept something new, because that's a problem that I think MMOs and RTSs really suffer from right now. Partially, I think it's because there aren't a lot of new games, and the new ones that are coming out aren't really delivering on what those audiences want. But also, like, those communities, they're very old genres. People tend to play stuff that's been out for 15, 20 years, you know what I mean? Like, people are still, one of the biggest RTS out there is Age of Empires 2. That game came out like 25 years ago, 30 years ago, something like that. 30, I think, is too much. I think it's like 20, 25 years ago. People are still playing it as it has an actually like super active competitive scene. And that's crazy. AOE4 is just better. Yeah, well, in a lot of ways you could say it is, but this is, again, this is the problem that stuff like RTSs have. Those audiences are so resistant to moving on. Like, they really don't want to move on to the next thing. They want to stay in these legacy things that they have a lot of nostalgia for and they know really well. That's why you can't really get people to move on to AoE 4. Even though you look at AoE 4 and you're like, in every way, this is an improvement, but it's not AoE 2, which is what people really want, right? Same reason why you can't get people to move on from Diablo 2 or World of Warcraft. You just can't get them to move on. Or RuneScape, right? It doesn't matter if RuneScape 3 is on paper like so much more accessible and better in every way. You can't get people to move on. So I think it takes a developer like ArenaNet to push things forward. I think that will go a long way compared to, say, a new developer that's like, hey, we're gonna make an MMO. It's like, sure you are, bud. But when ArenaNet says we're making Guild Wars 3 and we're gonna push the genre on, you believe them. Like, I believe them. I'm like, yeah, I believe you. You guys do that. That's what you do. So I'm excited for that. I think that's huge. I think it's massive. This looks cute. Yeah, the ship zombie game. Yeah.